What is going on? Blossom is back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Today's episode is going to be a what can you get from that pack, another episode on one of my most loved series on the channel. I'm happy a lot of you guys like it, all the statistics I like to pull out, and all my personal opinions and what I think about cars here and there. Today's pack in question is indeed the UK 2015 to 2019 carbon fiber, and I do have to say I do have mixed feelings about this pack, but we're going to go through the content and you can decide for yourself as well. Now, if you're new to the channel, obviously do consider subscribing if you like my content. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, I always appreciate your support. And of course, if you're new to the channel or you don't know how the series works, basically what happens is I'm going to give you a rundown of a pack. Today's episode is going to be this particular pack, and I'm going to show you all the ultras, epics, and legendaries you can get. No super rares, just ultras and above. Prize cars are not included, and of course I'll run through the statistics. So with that said, let's jump into the cars that you can get from this UK's carbon fiber. Alright guys, so we are greeted by this Vauxhall GTC VXR. It's not very nice to look at, but let me run through the ultra rare statistics. So in this pack, in total, you can get 75 cars, so this is actually a pretty big pack. In terms of ultras, you can get 21 ultras, 3 of them being RQ19, 4 of them being RQ20, 10 of them being RQ21, and 4 of them being RQ22. So we start off with the 3 RQ19s that we can get from this pack, which makes up 19%. So if you got an RQ19 from this carbon fiber, that's a 19% chance. We start with the Vauxhall GTC VXR, the Range Rover Evoque, and finally the Caterham 270. So in my opinion, that's one good car out of 3 in terms of RQ19, right? The Caterham 270 is always a good car to have in anybody's garage because standard tires, it's super light, and it has great handling. Max it out, it'll hit 85, which is very nice for a light standard tire car. Definitely a keeper in anybody's garage. And once again, I still regret not maxing it out when it was super rare, because this car used to be super rare. I think it used to have performance tires, that's why it was super rare, and then it got standard and it got bumped up, and that's when I maxed mine out. So I did lose a little bit there, but you know, I don't mind that. Anyway, moving on to RQ20, there are 4 of them, which makes up 19% of the pack. The first one right here is the Range Rover P400e PHEV. Moving on is the Land Rover Discovery SI4, or the C4, or the Yes4, C4, that's a bomb. The Jaguar F-Type Coupe, as well as the Bentley Mulsanne Extended Wheelbase. Now, once again, I have, no strong opinions about any of these cars besides the F-Type, because I own the F-Type and this thing has amazing MRA. I have it 699 and it hits I think 4.5, 4.6, 0 to 60 maybe, 4.7, 4.9. Actually, I don't even know what the 0 to 60 is maxed out, but I do know that it is 90 handling at 699. It is a strong car. I don't use it a lot anymore with the new XJR 4.2, but it definitely did its job before GE came around. So if I did get this car from the pack, I wouldn't be too disappointed. However, I would be more disappointed now if I got it now than if I got it back then before GE, because you know, there are a lot of better GE cars now. Next is the Bentley Mulsanne Extended Wheelbase. I own this car. I got it from my 15 GE pack opening. I still have it, I think, but I haven't really touched upon it yet. Now, moving on to RQ21s, there are a lot. 10 RQ21s that you can grab, which makes up almost 50% of the pack. It makes up 47% of the pack. So chances are, in the majority amount of the time when you open this pack, you're probably gonna get an RQ21, which, hey, that's not bad, right? It's not a 19. We start with the Vauxhall Insignia VXR Supersport. Nothing really good to say about this. I think it's medium 4-wheel drive and the handling is decent, but that's all I know about it. I actually did want to max this out at one point, but I never did it in the end. I think it was during the UK 4-wheel drive finals. I was thinking about it, but in the end I fused it. Next is the Range Rover Velar. Also the Range Rover Sport and the Range Rover Evoque. Now, I don't know the Range Rovers, these new GE Range Rovers very well yet, because I don't own any, but what I can say is that it looks like the Sport and the Velar seem to be the more popular options, because I did see them a couple times in the Chiron Sport Finals where it actually beat my Bentayga in the twisties. So definitely some keepers here if it beats the Bentayga in the twisties. It's either these cars are good or the Bentayga is very bad in the twisties, or a bit of both. But yeah, I think Eric can tell you that the Bentayga is actually just very bad. But I mean, I give credit where it's due. The Bentayga, the one that both of us have and that CMG has as well, is very, very good on the drags. But that's it. But anyway, moving on is the Jaguar XJ 3.0 V6 and the XFS. These are cars we've seen for a very long time, cars that I don't think are absolute keepers, in my opinion, fuse. Next is the Caterham 7360. It's an OG. It's not GE. It's been around forever, but it's a great car. It's definitely a great car. I think it hits 4.0 0 to 60 or something like that. My memory is really bad, but I know it hits 93 handling. It's weird. I always remember what the handling stats are, but I always forget what the 0 to 60 stats are. I'm pretty sure it's 4.0 on this thing, but I might be wrong. Moving on is the Bentley Mulsanne WO edition. WO is obviously the founder. It's the initials of the founder of Bentley. I forgot his name. I think it's like something Owen, I think. But yeah, it's a beautiful looking car, and I would definitely love to have one of these. Also is the Bentley Mulsanne Design Series, which is another Bentley I would love to have. It's a very beautiful car, but obviously these two cars are very, very similar. Moving on is the Bentley Mulsanne, and talk about similar cars. Look at this, 184-5180 to 184-5180. I'm pretty sure these cars are literally identical. I'm pretty sure they have the same weight as well, but I can't confirm or deny that just yet. But I'm pretty sure I was in a conversation about the Mulsannes and how these are the same. In my opinion, you know, in the grand scale of things, I think most people would fuse them. But if I got any of these three Bentley Mulsannes, I will keep them and fuse them just because of GE hype. But once again, it's not that essential for most players because of the RQ22s. And talking about RQ22s, there are 4 you can get, which makes up 90% of the pack. The first is the XFRS Sport Brake, and the XES. The Jags, man, they just like putting letters. They just name their cars letters. Bentley Mulsanne Speed. This is the better RQ22 Bentley I was talking about, alongside the Bentley Mulsanne Blue Train Limited Edition, because yes, Bentleys are trains and Hellcats are boats. But yeah, moving on, we go into epics now. So let me run through epics with you real quick. There are 18 you can get from the pack. 4 are RQ23, which makes up 22%. So let's run through the 4 right now. The Range Rover Evoque Autobiography. Moving on is the Land Rover Defender Works V8, which beats the Ford Escort Rally spec in some tracks, not all, and I think majority of the time the Rally spec is still a better car, but the Defender Works V8 is amazing. I love it. I have sentimental value towards this car now, because if it wasn't for this, I would not own the Chiron Sport V8. This thing is amazing. Moving on is the Range Rover 5.0 V8. Everybody knows this car. It's literally meant for the drags and the drags only. It's a very, very low 0 to 60. I think it's like 4. You know what? We've learned from this video that I can't remember 0 to 60s. I think it's 4.3 though. I think. But moving on with the Bentley Flying Spur. I don't know why when I see this car I think of Singapore. I think that there are just a lot of them here. And then next is RQ24. This is a special one. So the amount of RQ24s you can get from this pack is 1. Which makes up 5% of the pack, and yeah, it's just the 7420. I've owned this car before. I mean, yeah, I guess you can like it because there's 420 in the name, but once again, it's one of the weaker Caterhams. Nothing too special about it, and the only RQ24 that you can get. Anyway, moving on to RQ25, there are 8, which makes up 44% of the pack. It's the XJR 575, which I think is one of the most beautiful cards in the game. Nice picture, nice color, and the blue goes well with the purple Epic. Moving on is the F-Type R convertible. Everybody knows this. It's the convertible with the MRA of like a million, and the Jaguar F-Type Project 7. I don't know much about this car, but let's compare 3884 4082. So at least on paper stats, it does look like the Project 7 is a little better. However, I don't know the MRA on this thing. Moving on is the F-Pace 3.0D and the Bentley Flying Spur W12. Along with this is the Flying Spur V8S, the Bentayga Diesel, and finally the Aston Martin DB10. I know, it took us this long to get our first Aston Martin. But I'm happy that we got it, the Aston Martin DB10. It's a beautiful, beautiful machine. Amazing, amazing handling, amazing top speed. I think this thing has pretty strong MRA. The only thing that really sets it back is the 0 to 60 on this is pretty low. Now, we move on to the RQ26 ranks. The first one is the Evora 400. There are 5 RQ26s you can get, which makes up 28% of the pack. All of them are really just essential cars. The first one is the Evora 400, which has an MRA of like 100. Moving on is the Lotus Elise Cup 250. The next couple of cars is the Jaguar I-Pace. Now, when I reviewed, I think it was the UK 2018 pack. Was it the UK 2018? No, I think it was just the it was just the 2018 pack because the wide body was in it. I did not give this car a Blossom choice tag, and I do want to apologize because it does deserve a Blossom choice tag. In my opinion, this is the best standard tire car in the game now. In terms of twisties, it won't win anything fast because of the low top speed, but goddamn, this thing, like the low 0 to 60 and the good handling, the 4-wheel drive, the medium, the standard, it's better than the CT6. As much as I love the Cadillac CT6, this car is better than the CT6. Obviously, the CT6 will beat it in anything fast, but majority of the races and top drives are more twisty than fast, and therefore the I-Pace is very, very useful. Moving on is the Bentley Flying Spur W12S. Man, I think this picture is beautiful. I don't know about you, but I think this is a beautiful picture, and I want it literally for that only reason. Of course, we have the Bentley Continental GT Speed Coupe as well. This is a car that I own, and I almost have maxed out. Very, very happy of it. I'm very happy to own this car. Anyway, we're moving on to legendaries now. We start with RQ27. There are a lot of legendaries in this pack. There are 36 legendaries in this pack. 11 of them are RQ27. Now take that how you will, might be a good thing or a bad thing. For me, it's a good thing because most of the RQ27s in this pack are Aston Martins, but you can see that's really biased. So in a general scale of things, I guess this could be a downfall of this pack. The fact that it has 11 RQ27s, that's 31%. That's a lot. But let's run through it. We have the Evora Sport 410, MRF like 97. I own this car, almost maxed out. Evora GT 430 Sport, which is a little better than the 410. The Range Rover Velar SV Autobiography Dynamic Edition, as well as the Sport SVR. Next, we have the Jaguar F-Type R Coupe all-wheel drive. Everybody knows this, and everybody doesn't want this. I don't want it for sure, and I don't want that Lotus Exige, the RQ27 that we saw earlier as well. So 2 definite cars we want to skip. Next is the Bentley Continental, the car named after a watch because it is the Breitling edition, which is a watch, unless it's Breitling Jet Team, so the watch has a Jet Team too, which actually is pretty cool. I don't know much about Breitling, but I'm sure PG Leo would know it. So Boar, this is all you, bro. This is watch stuff. But if they made a Hublot version of a Bentley, oh, I would love that. Anyway, moving on is the Aston Martin Vanquish S, along with the Vantage or the Vantage. I love the looks of this car. It's literally just a discount AMG GT. Oh no, did I just say that? Okay, it's a slower version of the Mercedes AMG GT. Like, everybody knows that. But discount, that's a bit harsh. I love this car, and you know, I can't do Aston Martin like that. But yeah, moving on is the Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato and the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, which is basically just the worst version of the Leggera Coupe. Although this I think has better MRA, that just makes no sense because the MRA of the DBS Superleggera in top drives is wrong. Like, it should be way higher than what it is right now. It's not in the 80s. It should be in the 90s. But yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about convertible cars. Like, I don't like them because they're just kind of crappier versions of their better brothers, you know what I mean? But once again, you know, although I'm giving a lot of shade, it's still a DBS Superleggera at the end of the day, so I wouldn't mind having one in my garage. But obviously, I would love the hardtop better. Moving on is the Aston Martin DB11. Oh my goodness, I wish this was still epic, guys. Everybody agrees with me. I bet you all wish this was still epic. Moving on now in the RQ28 ranges, we have 7, which makes up 19% of the pack. The start is the Lotus Evora GT430, followed by the Bentley Continental GT3-R, Bentley Continental GT V8, the Bentley Continental No. 9 edition by Mulliner, the Bentley Continental GT, the Bentley Bottega W12, and of course, the cream of the crop, the car I want the most from this pack, the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. But those are all the RQ18s. It's just a lot of Bentleys, man. And obviously, I don't want to talk about each one in depth because this will just be a long video. And I don't want to do that because there are a lot of cars in this pack already. So, you know, it's pretty fundamental. If you get a legendary, you know, keep it. But yeah, the DBS Superleggera, man, I want that. I want this car so much. Anyway, moving on to RQ29s now, we have 13, which makes up 36% of the pack. We start off with the McLaren GT, alongside is the 720S GT3, the 650S GT3, the 570S Spider, the 570S Coupe, and the Exige Cup 430, followed by the 311. All very strong cars. A lot of GT3 cars, which I know is on the wish list of my boy, Derek. So I hope if you do open the pack, I do wish you the best of luck, and I hope you get your McLaren GT3s. You can't get the GT3 Continental from this, but you can definitely get the 720 and the 570. Anyway, moving on is the RQ29s now. Oh wait, no, yeah, we're still doing 29s, that's right. The Jaguar F-Pace SVR, the Jaguar F-Type SVR Coupe, nobody wants this one, everybody knows that. The Bentley Continental Super Sports, the Deadpool car, which I like to call the Bentley Continental 24, the Bentley Bentayga V8, and yeah, that is a lot. RQ29s, I mean, it's kind of crazy as well, and as well as the Ariel Atom 4. Anyway, those are all the RQ29s. Let's move on to RQ30. There are 5 RQ30s you can get that makes up 14% of the pack. And those are, those are all the statistics I have. 14% right here, and they're literally just all McLarens. McLaren 720S Spider, 720S, 675 LT, 600 LT, 600 LT Coupe, and those are all the cars. Let me see. Yeah, 5, which makes up 14%. But yeah, that is the pack. So let's have a verdict. Alright guys, so that was a pretty speedy one. I know it's still going to be a pretty long video, but there are a lot of cars in that pack. That's the pack. What's my verdict? Am I going to open it? Should you open it? Okay, well, here's the thing, right? What makes this pack so good are the high-end GE cars, the new GE cars. In fact, the non-GE cars bring the value of this pack down a little bit, because when you think about it, because non-GE packs are included in this pack, you also get the inclusion of the RQ27 F-Type and the RQ27 Lotus Exige that nobody wants, and the RQ29 F-Type that nobody wants. And because of that, it kind of weighs down the pack a bit. You have the Caterham 420 as well, which is like Y, and the Land Rover Evoque, that's RQ19. And at the end of the day, although there are some really strong cars in this pack, you're better off of just opening a regular GE carbon fiber, or in my case, I'm better off opening a regular Aston Martin carbon fiber. They haven't been out yet, but eventually Aston carbon fibers have to come out, right? So with that said, am I going to open it? No. Should I ask you guys to open it? I mean, it's really a 50-50. I really want to say no, but I can understand why people would want to open this pack as well, because once again, some very strong vehicles in this. Very strong, especially in the legendary categories, but at the end of the day, there are also a lot of red flags which can be minimized if you open similar but different packs, if you get what I mean. So basically, you're better off of a GE carbon fiber or a McLaren carbon fiber. That's never gonna happen, but an Aston carbon fiber for sure. But if you really want to chase those McLarens, this might be a pretty good pack to open. Either this or the GE pack would be good for your McLarens. But if you just want an Aston, a good Bentley, or a Jag, then I would wait for those specific carbon fibers or GE. Anyway, that is my verdict. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. And once again, hope you guys have a great day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you all next time. Blossom out.